to get your attention, please. If you haven't been embarrassed by me, then you probably don't know me very well. Nick, you've been with me for how many years? Since 1988. At one time, everybody in Floydband was from Parma. I graduated from Normandy High School. Yes, weird.
40 years apart.
I feel like we should have been a Rush Schubert band.
40 years.
You know, Parma loves Rush. I'm going to start by reading a story and then... I'm going to start now. I'm going to read a story from my screenplay. It's called The Secret of My Success. My thoughts are there's never been a very good punk rock movie other than Repo Man, so I wrote one, but nobody cares.
Everybody cares.
It's called, for my screenplay, called The Secret of My Success. I call this one The Great Cleveland Rock and Roll Swindle. It must have been about 1987 because Dave Malchek and Tom Goodwin were still in the band. Tomcat having recently joined. We got booked to play the then gigantic mainstream festival, Riverfest. That's right, Riverfest. Floyd band, Riverfest. Let that settle. Let that marinate. How did such a motley crew of underground musicians land such a high-profile gig? Lies and deceit, of course. At the time, I worked for an Egyptian guy named Saber, who owned a strip club called Saber's, a couple doors down from Peabody's in the Flats. He also owned a huge parking lot that was across the street from Peabody's, which would be the main stage for the oncoming Riverfest event. The bands had been booked with First Light playing their Peace and Love set at 10 p.m. Saber knew I had a band called Floydband, but little else about us. To which I used to my advantage. I told him we were a Pink Floyd cover band. How could I refuse? He loved Pink Floyd and insisted that we play after First Light on Saturday, the best shot of the weekend. Hey, when you got nothing to lose. I accepted the offer. We got word out to college radio and word of mouth, and the big day arrived. I remember Dave driving his van through the crowd, literally 1 foot at a time. Tom arrived that night and had to walk from the top of the Flats with his guitar on his back and his amp on a hand dolly. Here we were, a band used to play to 100 people on a good night in places like JB's Down or Peabody's, about to play before thousands of drunky, yuppie, redneck, classic rock fans. Were we worried? Oh, how we drank that day. Balls of beer, have no fear. So we loaded our gear on stage as First Light was tearing down. One working technician asked me, "Hey, where are the keyboards?" To which I replied, "Keyboards? We don't need no stinking keyboards." It was on. Moments to go, a huge light show fixed upon our humble equipment. We took the stage. 1, 2, 3. Dave was not there. Dave was the drummer. So now I had to stall, so I could play to the crowd that we couldn't start without our drummer, and I got them chanting, "Dave, Dave, 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 Dave." After what seemed like an hour, the crowd began to part like the Red Sea before Moses, and here came Dave with cases of beer under his arms. Now I had the crowd chanting, "Beer, beer, beer." Dave wings the beer up on stage, the bag rips, beer rolling everywhere. He climbs up the front of the stage, calmly throws about 3 beers to the crowd, and then sits down and clicks off 4 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. We began with a punked out version of Mellow Yellow. Unfucking believable. The crowd ate it up. There we were. Why am I getting a message? There we were, that drunk, and we were on fire. "Pink Floyd," I sneered. "We don't need no stinking Pink Floyd." We launched into our own set. Another message. We launched into our own set and got away with about 8 songs before they shut us down. Not because of our music, but because I was yelling across the river to the people at the dock at Shooters, calling them lame Michael Stanley loving motherfuckers. The sound man at stage right told me to apologize. To which I respectfully told the crowd, I'm sorry, you're a bunch of lame Michael Stanley pussies. That was that. We trashed our gear in true punk rock fashion, gathered our remaining beers, and left the stage. And here's the most incredible part of the whole debacle. The crowd wanted us back for an encore. Meanwhile, Saber had passed out drunk and missed our set. I don't think he ever found out we were a Pink Floyd cover band. The boy once said it, and he said it best. We can be heroes just for one day. This is possibly the first song Floydband ever wrote. It's called I Hate Looking About You. Back in the day, you'd break up with a chick, and then you'd see her at the bar every weekend. Suck! I hate looking at you, it reminds me of the pain you put me through. I hate when you smile at me, why don't you just let me be? I hate it when you toss your hair, and I hate knowing that you don't care. When you're around, the world turns to gray, all of the colors get blown away. And I hate looking at you, I hate your kid, I hate your mother too. And I hate looking at you, I hate your life, and I hate mine too. And I hate looking at you, I do, hate looking at you. And I hate the love that you pretended, and I hate the way you chose to end it. And I hate seeing you with your new boy. Does he know he's just a toy? And I hate seeing you out having fun. I hate thinking I could have been the one. I hate the games that you play, cause when you're around, my world turns to gray. And I hate looking at you, I hate your kid, and I hate your mother too. And I hate looking at you, I hate your life, and I hate mine too. And I hate looking at you. I do. Hate looking at you. Aerosmith, big ending on acoustic guitar. Thank you.
Floyd Unplugged.
Come and do another story here. Once upon a time, is how good stories start. In the 80s, there was a bar just south of Public Square in Ontario called the London. It's now a parking lot. Bands touring and staying at Stouffer's, also no longer there, used to hang out and drink in the working class bar. One morning after a night of getting smashed, on the way home I decided to stop at the London for an eye-opener. As I was walking across Ontario, the door to the London flew open. Into the gray Clevo morn outstalked Johnny Rotten. It was during his peacock-colored dreads period, and he was out on tour with PIL. Drunk and giddy with excitement, I pointed directly at him and said the first thing that came to mind. Johnny Rotten?
No.
It's Leiden, he sneered back at me. Ever the drunken punk rock quick-witted guy, I then retorted, Johnny Leiden! It's rotten, he shot back. Passing me by as he made his way across Ontario to Stouffer's, I guess the lesson I learned goes, you don't spit on the wind, and you don't try to outsmart-ass Johnny Rotten. One more story or a song?
No, whatever, man.
Okay, I'll do a quick story.
Chill out, baby.
Okay, this one has to do with Trent Reznor, Exotic Birds. Oh, I mean 9 Inch Nails. Well, before he was in 9 Inch Nails, he was in a kind of lame synth band. So I'm going to tell the story here. This is a hard story for me to write because means I must admit to going to see the Exotic Birds. It was one of those nights when Squelch, Starvation Army, or the Pink Holes were nowhere to be found on the pages of the scene. The Birds had a buzz on them about breaking attendance records and being the next big thing out of Cleveland. I also heard another buzz that caught my interest a lot more, that their shows were well intended by hot new wave chicks. I'm only human, I went. My friend Dude and I arrived at the Fantasy drunk and stoned. The dance floor was popping, and I mean it literally. That new wave college crowd were all doing the same lame pop up and down kind of dance that gave my stoned impression of being inside a popcorn machine. The music was boring, predictable synth dance pop. It soon became apparent that none of the girls from... It soon became apparent that none of the girls there were going to dance with us. So me and Dude, two slobbering drunks, we gathered up chairs and pulled them up on the floor and danced with chairs. That was our first time chair dancing, and I believe Dude and I were the pioneers of the chair dancing fad that later swept the dance floors throughout Cleveland in the mid-'80s. I also noticed something else that alerted me. 3 of their songs were called, one was called Dancing on the Airways, the other was called Dance With Me, and the third song was called Dance the Night Away. Before I got in Floydband, I started out as a heckler. Ask Fairweather if you don't believe me. Ask Dragonwick if you don't believe me. So I noticed this, that all 3 songs had dance in the title, so I stood in front and kept yelling, "Play Dance the Night Away on the Airwaves with me." Play Dance the Night on the Airwaves with me. So a couple of months went by, thought nothing about it, and I run into Trent Reznor at the symposium. And I went up to him and I said, "I really love your song, Dance the Night Away on the Airwaves with me." To which Trent replied, "It's that asshole." So I got to be, I never thought, okay. So I got to be honored with, being the guy that annoyed lame synth bands, and that asshole to Trent Reznor. And for me, that was worthwhile.
Prom. Yeah, went to prom together.
This one is another song. A lot of bands were writing love songs in the 80s, mainstream radio. We wrote anti-love songs. We wrote about when love sucks. This one's called Love Ain't Worth a Dime. Are you ready, Nick? Are you ready? Let's go! Why do girls forget so fast? Why do good times never last? The hardest part is knowing you're not there. Hardest part is knowing you don't care. You were laughing while I cried, and I was wishing I had died. You told me you met somebody new. You told me that we were through. You blew me off really big time. Realized then love ain't worth a dime. I can't forget our last night together. Thought you needed me, I should have known better. You showed me that love is a lie. I had to leave, there was something in my eye. You were laughing while I cried. I was wishing I had died. You told me you met somebody new. You told me we were through. You blew me off really big time. Realized then love ain't worth a dime. You told me you met somebody new. You told me we were through. You blew me off really big time. Realized then love ain't worth the dime.
I have to put my reading glasses for this bitch. When do we start the mosh pit?
Ciao, come va? Sta bene. Ciao. How you doing?
I know.
Hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in a billion years, man.
I can fix this.
You can make the fonts larger, technology.
Good to see you. Oh.
Alright.
There's drinks there and fun too. There's food, lots of food.
Everybody remember Tim Shaw?
Oh yeah.
He was like Cleveland's first black punk rocker.
There's
Tough job.
drinks back there.
The summer of '83, we were young punk rockers pissed at the world. Tim and I had just finished selling plasma at the blood bank. We figured with the loss of blood, we'd be able to get drunk easier and cheaper on the $20 we each made and earned so unselfishly. Dressed in our punk rocker attire of the day, we decided to set off in search of a bar with the cheapest beer around. Now back in '83, punk was not the edgy fashion statement it is today. We had no hot topics. Punk clothing was very DIY at the time, and I meant shopping for funky threads we could afford at Goodwill and Salvation Army. The result was often that of a gay homeless look. 1983 in Cleveland, where this tale of mischief and triumph takes place, the look was the cause of much negative attitude, from sometimes violence by unapproving rednecks and frat boys alike. The fact that Tim had the dubious honor of being Cleveland's only black punk rocker made him especially brave in my book. So factor this into the story of mayhem that's about to unfold. No punks, no clubs or bars really catered to punk rockers. The rage was hair metal at the time. Apparently the gay biker look trumped the homeless look. The bus dumped us off downtown at Cleveland State in the midst of frat boy land. Ahead a banner proclaimed, "Dollar Rolling Rock." Honestly, we knew it was a sports bar, but the lure of dollar beer was too strong. We were men on a mission. Inside the bar, the sounds of Bon Jovi singing about how tough it was to live on a prayer assaulted our ears. And the garish light of 20 TV screens assaulted our eyes. But we soldiered on. In my peripheral vision, I could see the bouncers murmuring and shaking their heads in our direction. Big Brother is watching you. 1984, we're still years away, but arriving early. Apparently some horrible local mainstream disc jockey station was sponsoring the event. A banner hung from the ceiling explaining, the DJ Uncle Vic was there on stage. I remember Uncle Vic?
Yeah.
Behind a big plexiglass window, obnoxious DJ with an afro, Hawaiian sunglasses, was baiting the crowd between hits by Cinderella and Dutch Lipstick. You're partying with Cleveland's best rock, WNZS, where the rock never stops. Yeah, I'm Uncle Vic, the man of the hour. Happy hour, that is, bringing you Cleveland's best rock. This guy represented to me all that was wrong and hateful in the world. He was all full of himself with that jokey, phony DJ voice they all use. I mean, how many times can you use rock in one sentence? I'll tell you what, he continued. We're going to play a little game called Flash the DJ. The first lovely ladies to come up here and flash the DJ will win a pitcher of ice-cold beer. Maybe it was the crappy music, the flashing TVs, the polo shirts, or perhaps the cheap beer taking effect in my blood-deficient system. But something snapped in my head. Seize the moment, a voice from my seemed to bark. Without thinking, I grabbed a big plate of nachos, slathered in cheese sauce, and made my way to the booth. Tim saw the purpose in my eyes and chugged directly from the pitcher, not wanting to get thrown out and leaving valuable, unfinished cheap beer behind. I charged the DJ booth, and at the last second pretended to fall. I smashed the plate of nachos into the plexiglass window, smearing the cheese all across the glass. Bad move, asshole, came the DJ's reply in a loud, booming voice. I felt the bouncer's grip as he embraced me in a hammerlock. As I was being dragged out, I heard the DJ solemnly reprimand me over the PA. You punks don't know how to have fun. Fuck you, I yelled back. That was the most fun I had all day. True story. Oh, here comes another anti-love song. This one's called She's Better Off Dead Without Me. We used to hang outside the bar. We walked a lot, didn't have a car. Seemed like the rain would never come. Falling in love could make you really dumb. Things were better when she loved me. Then she said, fucked up my head. We're better off dead without me. She's better off dead without me. She's better off dead without me. Okay. Do I use a gun? Do I use a rope? It costs too much to give a much dope. Shall I cut her hair with a chainsaw? Poison in the shaper is against the law. Things were better then. Better when she loved me. Then she said, fucked up my head. She's better off dead without me. Better off dead without me. Better off dead without me. She's better off dead without me. I want to thank our lame ass drummer Pete for showing up. He recently sprained his arm jacking off and falling down the stairs. How did you jack off and fall down the stairs, Pete?
I don't know anything that runs me.
Someone said I was supposed to be family friendly.
There's a lot of food back there. I'll put your notebook back here so you're...
Here's another story.
He's reading that one.
This is another one features Tim Shaw. Like I said, Cleveland's premier black punk rocker.
Where's Dada?
It's a short one. One year, Tim Shaw and I had plans to go to the Warped Tour. We were going to meet there as I had a job, and we'd get there later. Tim proceeds to tell me what he'd be wearing so I could find him in the crowd. Tim, I interrupted, I think I'll be able to spot you as you're the only black guy that will be there other than Ice-T. And guess what? It was easy to spot Tim. He was on stage getting drunk and rocking out to L7. Ice-T kicked ass, by the way.
Well, I can't forget you, my whispers on my mind, your life as a thief, eating me alive, can't from my skin, I can feel it in my blood. I can't forget you, even if I could, I couldn't sleep at night, see you in my dreams, wake up in a cold sweat, this is what I scream, I got you, under my skin, I got you, under my skin, I got you, under my skin, I got you. Just can't win. First you say you want me, then you say you won't, then you say you will, and then you say you won't. You're like a song keeps repeating in my brain. When I see you dancing, it drives me insane. I can't sleep at night. See you in my dreams, wake up in a cold sweat, this is what I scream, I got you, under my skin, I got you, under my skin, I got you, under my skin, I got you, I just can't win. Under my skin, I got you.
Where'd you get it
Under my skin, I got you. Under my skin, I got you, got you. Under my skin, I got you. Under my skin, I got you, got you. Under my skin, I got you. Under my skin, I got you. Just can't win, I got you.
My mom was too normal.
Well, fuck, time for a story.
I did Yona's mom.
Greg, I'm gonna
I
stand
would have
up.
gotten along with her. Too bad she died already. Sit there, baby. Get one of those. Up there. Get on the sit on the chair.
We have any sports fans?
Fine.
Anybody like sports?
Let's see if somebody else is sick. You want?
No?
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell the story anyway.
That's good.
What do Floyd from Floydband and former All-Pros defensive cornerback Hanford Dixon have in common? The question was posed to the public in 1994 over the airwaves of commercial radio. The answer can be found on Cleveland Entertainment Online. It was some kind of Cleveland Entertainment internet service that called and asked me if I'd be interested in doing a radio commercial with Hanford Dixon. Any money involved, I asked? $250 came the reply. After picking myself up off the floor, I calmly replied, sure, why not? I mean, fuck, that was more than a Floydband ever made from a show. Visions of 8 balls danced through my head. The limo picked me up from my day job and took me to the studio. I'm shaking hands with Hanford, top dog,
What is it?
Dixon. Dude, you should be copyrighted the word dog. But I refrained from telling him that. I figured I would probably hearing that the rest of his life.
Where's Dada?
I am by no means a sports enthusiast. Still, it was pretty cool to meet him all the same. I even got his autograph. We were then given our scripts. I was to say, I'm Floyd from Floydband, and Cleveland Online rules. And here's where it got way cooler. Hanford's line was, that Floyd guy scares me. The commercial aired on NCX, GAR, and WZAK, and a bunch of stations that no one I know listens to, so I never got much feedback on it. But I'm sure none of their listeners heard of me. But that was their fuck up. I took the money and run. This is really going to date us. It's a song about Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry. When he shoots to kill. Watching him kill gives me a thrill. He's got a bat, he's got a gun. He don't stop killing till the day is done. You piss him off, he'll break your hand. They call him Dirty Harry. Get my game. It would be fun to play
I'll stick my fool behind you.
Ain't a toy.
I'm gonna stick my
On a mission, set to destroy. Dirty Harry, Dirty
I'm gonna walk my friend. I'm gonna walk my friend to
Make
my
my
car.
day, Dirty Harry, Dirty Harry. Make my day, Dirty Harry, Dirty Harry. Make my day. We're going shine on your ass.
Spell some, mommy.
He's always saving that skinny blonde. Macho dude with a straight gun. Shot a hole to Scorpio, stuck in his foot and wiggled his toes. All of his partners end up dead, lying there in a pool of blood. It's true. It's Go ahead, talk at my days. It would be fun to throw you away. 44, ain't a toy. I'm on a mission, search and destroy. Dirty Harry, Dirty Harry. Make my day, Dirty Harry, Dirty Harry. Make my day, Dirty Harry, Dirty Harry. Make my day. Get that high note, Nick. Come on, baby. Bring it home, brother. Thank you.
Oh man, I'm tired. You're leaving. I'm tired. But you're like part of the party. You're fun. Like I love all your expressions and your pictures, and you're like, oh god, sure. Pictures. Whose plate is that? I can sit there.
Oh, that's Miguel's.
Yeah, here, sit there. Sit there. He's not here right now.
Not here right now.
This, anybody familiar with the Cleveland band Perubu? Well, Dave Thomas, the singer, used to be called Crocus Behemoth when he wrote for the Plain Dealer. And he was also a bouncer at the Viking Saloon. So anyways, here's the story about LSD and Perubu.
Oh boy.
That was me, that is Floyd, and my three droogs sitting in the friend's basement, tripping our asses off, deciding what to do with the night, when a drunken Bill F. Bash informed us that the Buzz Turd was sponsoring Rock Around the Clock Orgy Weekend.
I got these guys going.
So high on acid at 3 a.m. we flew over to the Old Agora, and as we made our way to the front of the stage, we fell to our knees and crawled to the front. It was total chaotic bliss for our young, impressionable, tripping minds. We thought it was Hawkwood at first. I'll never forget. There was Crocus Behemoth in a yellow raincoat, pounding on an anvil with a hammer. It sounded like an airplane crash with drums. We were hypnotized. I don't think we spoke for like an hour. Our brains had experienced a meltdown. We had seen and felt the wrath of God. About a month later, I was at the Viking Saloon when I accidentally threw a pitcher of beer at Dragonwick. Suddenly, a powerful arm grabbed me from behind, put me in a headlock, and guided me to the door, threw me to the curb. I looked up. Apparently, God was a bouncer in his spare time.
You're fucking awesome, Floyd. Go Floyd, go Floyd, go Floyd.
We're going to cheer things up with a song about death. This one's called Die Die. Turning on my hearing aid for this one. More.
Nuclear explosion, car accident. Why the work? Why pay rent? Cancer patient, heart attack, earthquake age, crack or smack. Any day you might die. Any way you will die. Die, 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 die. Maybe you'll be murdered on a Saturday night. Maybe die of suicide, maybe die of rape. Why make friends with you? Always die alone. Electric chair be nice, one with the telephone. Any day you might die. Anyway, you will die. Die, 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 die. Nuclear explosion, car accident. Why go work? Why pay rent? Cancer patient, heart attack, earthquake age, crack or smack. Any day you might die. Anyway, you will die. Die, 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 die.
Hey, it happens.
Up your alley, Thomas
guys.
Toby. Up your alley, Thomas Toby. He's like, oh yeah. He's looking at. He's like, oh yeah.
Somehow, a bunch of scumbag punk rockers like Dave Malchek, Cheeseburger, and Les Black from the Pink Holes, Tim Kelly from Starvation Army, and yours truly ended up crashing a party at a mansion on Cleveland's east side. How do we gain entrance? I can only recall that strippers were involved.
I don't know.
We were in our out-of-control mode when we arrived, the fish-out-of-water scenario, if you will.
Laundry and dishes. And
3 Great Danes roamed the halls. Giant crystal chandeliers, indoor fountains. You could not go outside to piss or puke without motion detectors cameras following your every move. As you can well imagine, a lot of this is a blur. Expensive lamps got broke, stripper does cartwheel into a fountain, a bottle thrown at a chandelier, the usual mayhem. But here's where the highlight reel. In the center of the room was a staircase with a huge, shiny, mahogany banister. And perched atop the banister, Cheeseburger from the Pink Holes. Now, as a child, we have all slid down a banister or two, but for a drunk, 200-pound adult punk rocker, the results were a little different. I remember seeing Cheese make his descent. He slides elegantly at first for a man of his size. As his speed increases, he careens wildly off the side midway down the staircase. There is a loud crash, followed by complete silence. The silence because Cheese had crash landed on the stereo. We rushed to the side of our fallen brother. He was breathing but not moving. Rich folks were staring and pointing our way. Somewhere a Great Dane barked menacingly. We dragged Cheese outside. We're pondering our next move when Cheese smiled up at us. What the fuck? We thought you were dead. His response, if you just crash landed on a freaking $10,000 stereo, what would you do? Good point, Cheeseburger, and well played.
I saw you at the bar. Said you were looking for a rock and roll star. Said you must think about me. Said see you later, got a drink of me. I bought you a beer, asked you over my place, you laughed at me, so I threw it in your face. Who needs you? Who needs you? Who needs you? I don't need you. I thought you were cool, I should have known better. Can't judge a girl by how she looks in a sweater. Dandy, gave you my fist cause it was handy. Don't want your lipstick on my face. Wish you'd go away to outer space. Who needs you? Who needs you? Who needs you? I don't need you. Who needs you? Who needs you? Who needs you? I don't need you.
Twist the knife.
More stories, please. More stories.
Hey, Dude and Billy, you need to listen to this one.
More stories.
I mean, JB and Billy. Billy Bogus. Hi, I know you're busy. You want to hear this story.
More stories.
At the time, I thought it was, this one's called When Punks Go to SeaWorld. At the time, I thought it was a mistake. What the hell, someone had to do it. The Weekly Sea magazine had informed us that a can of food you could gain interest in SeaWorld and bands would be playing. Bored with our usual chaos, we decided to help world hunger and attend. At that point, we made another mistake, which was consuming much liquor and sneaking it in. It seemed like a good idea at the time. We were stared down by bouncers and soccer moms alike. Apparently, motley-looking punks in the city was not on their agenda. Drunk off my ass, I decided it would be fun to go up front and dance where a bunch of cute girls were dancing. Another bad idea that seemed like a good idea at the time. As I danced, staggered my way to the front, I caught the eye of the yellow-shirted Sunrise Security Squad, the SSS. Suddenly, I was pushed hard in the chest. Apparently, I was dancing too close to the stage, and others danced without hassle all around me. I continued to dance defiantly. Who knows what that's like? Among the cute girls, and yet somewhat fearful girls, suddenly I was pushed back again, even harder this time. Here's where I made another bad choice. I took a drunken swing at the head floating above the yellow shirt. All I saw was blue skies and the trails from my slow-mo swinging on. Swoosh! The next thing I know, I'm in a hammerlock. I'm being escorted towards the exit. In pain, I told them, I'm cool, let me walk. They released their grip on me. I seized the opportunity to run. Yet another in a series of bad decisions, I was tackled to the ground. They were not amused and dragged me through the gaping throngs of tourists. Cursing and complaining loudly, I was escorted to the escort and unkindly disposited in the parking lot. I was drunk, beaten, and staring at a vast sea of shiny cars. I was tripping and it looked like a sea of Easter eggs. With no idea where we had parked, I put out my thumb to hitch a ride back to Cleveland. An approaching car slowed down. Had my luck changed, the window rolled down, and splat! A huge loogie was spit in my face. So that's pretty much Floyd's SeaWorld adventure. If you're looking for a happy ending, there is none. There can be no happy ending when punks go to SeaWorld.
It's shut down. Woo!
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God. Free the whales.
This is a song about being broke off your ass. Back when you had to go to the blood bank to get money for crack. I mean, not crack, I mean food. Yeah, it starts with a little poem. It's called the Poverty Song. I should have been a blade of grass, then no one could kick my ass. I should have been a four-leaf clover, then no one could fuck me over. I should have been an apple tree and lived my life more fruitfully. Free, boy!
Get it, mommy.
Sitting in my hiding hole, getting together, goodwill close. Hot dog that I stole, going nowhere, growing old. Living on a minimum wage, running a race with broken legs. Don't try and tell me life is fair. I'm feeling desperate, nobody cares. Don't try and tell me Jesus saves. I won't go happy to my grave. Should have been a blade of grass, then no one could kick my ass. Should have been a falling over, then no one could buck me over. Should have been an apple tree, live my life more brutally. Don't try and tell me life is fair, 'cause I'm feeling desperate, nobody cares. Don't try and tell me Jesus saves. I won't go happy to my grave, no way. Tell me life is fair. I'm feeling desperate, nobody cares. Don't try and tell me Jesus saves. I won't go happy to my grave. Not actually a story. This really happened to me when I got back to Cleveland after a hurricane and a car accident landed me here.
Let's try it.
I went to a bar. It was Halloween, and I went to a bar, and some young woman was talking to me and chatting me up. Oh, I love your blue beard. Oh, I love your nose ring. How long have you had it? Well, longer than you've been alive. You know, she was chatting me up. I'm feeling pretty cool, pretty good about myself. So I decided I'm going to go to Tremont and get a slice of pizza at Edison's. Well, plug there because it's good pizza. So I go in Edison's and the pizza bar is closed. So I see a couple at the bar. And I go up to them and I say, hey, I have a question. And the girl looks at me and goes, we don't have any spare change. I don't know. I went from being the cool guy to being the homeless guy within a half an hour. Welcome back to Cleveland.
Go to Crust. Go to Crust.
I know exactly what you're doing.
Cover song.
tulip park for you. When you're alone, it's making you lonely, come on downtown. When you are bored and there's no drugs around, come on downtown. Listen to the music, the traffic of the city, all the people around you, they make you feel so shitty. The lights are brighter there, forget your words, forget your cares, come downtown, 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 down, 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 downtown, everything's waiting for you. Everything's waiting for you. When you're alone, there's no crack around, come on downtown. You're feeling real horny, but there's no girls around, come on downtown. The music of the city, a gentle bossa nova. She'll be dancing with ya before the night is over. Forget your words, forget your cash. Come on! Downtown, downtown, down, 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 downtown. Come on, downtown, downtown. Everything's waiting for you. Everything's waiting for you. Everything's waiting for you. Downtown, downtown. I forget how we end this. Kind of ripped off. Welcome to Cleveland.
Welcome back to Cleveland. Welcome back. You can never leave.
Worse than the Hotel California. Free bird.
You can never leave.
This story might be a little dark, but it's a true
What
story.
does it say? You don't want to get the kid out of here.
This really happened,
Wait, tell me.
much to my chagrin. How fitting that this true story takes place on Halloween, the night of magic and mayhem. The year was 1988, during the blurry alcoholic part of my life, when I partied hard and unapologetically. Being a well-known drunk around town, I had the chance to make many friends and, yes, enemies. As a singer in a punk rock party band, I was not very well liked by the local straight-edge skinhead movement going on at the time. In fact, you might say I had a bullseye on my chest, as I never missed an opportunity to fuck with me whenever our paths crossed. Side note, I used to have a convertible, and they would piss in my car seat because my top wouldn't go back up. I'd come out of the bar and I'd splash down, and found out about it years later. The skinheads hated me. I was primed in full blackout modes when I went to see the Buzzcocks that Halloween. The last thing I recall was some friendly slam dancing in the mosh pit when I was viciously attacked by a large skinhead in full clown regalia. Yes, I suffered the humiliation of publicly getting my ass kicked by a clown. To this day, I do not know how I made it back home. I only remember waking up 3 hours later in my bed covered in blood with my phone ringing relentlessly. My brother was on the line and he had bad news. My mom had died. When it rains, it pours, and I was pouring blood and tears. My brother told me they would be there to pick me up and would be arriving in 3 hours. I looked in the mirror and my head was gashed, both eyes blackened and swollen. After some intense vomiting, I passed back out to wake up 3 hours later. This time it was the doorbell buzzing relentlessly. The 3-hour trip back to my folks' house was a blur as I alternated between puking and passing out. My mom had opted for a funeral service and only wanted to be cremated. People were to make donations to pet shelters instead of wasting money on flowers. That's the kind of mom she was. My dad insisted I see a doctor because it was obvious I was suffering from a concussion. I told the doctor what happened and was surprised when he told me I was a lucky man. How do you figure? I just got the shit kicked out of me and my mom died. Lucky did not seem to apply to what I had been through in the last 24 hours. He replied, when someone suffers from a concussion this extreme and passes out, they must be woken up every 3 hours
or there was hemorrhaging in the brain that could very well have killed you. It was a very sobering and chilling moment for me. Without that call in the middle of the night, without my brother picking me up 3 hours later, and the 3-hour ride home, who knows? It's kind of a fucked up thing, because had she not died that night, I might have. But that's what moms do. They look out for the children and try and keep them safe. So thank you, Mom, for being there for me even when you could not be there. I miss you always. I have always heard tell that it is not uncommon for people to have a fear of clowns. I have since joined that club. However, there was another unexpected side effect. I'm also afraid of the buzzcocks. This was called Kill Myself Last Night.
Wanted to call you, but I'm stumbling at dollars. Wanna kill myself last night. I was depressed, you know the rest. Wanna kill myself last night. I was so lonely, why did you phone me? Wanna kill myself last night. Needed someone to hold me, someone to console me. Wanna kill myself last night. I was depressed, you know the rest. I wanna kill myself last night. Needed someone to hold me, someone to control me. Wanna kill myself last night. Why didn't you phone me? I was so lonely. Wanna kill myself last night. I was depressed, you know the rest. Wanna kill myself last night. Kill myself last night. Kill myself last night. Then I watched Barney Miller. Jennifer Better. Didn't kill myself last night. 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 Last night. Last night. Didn't kill myself last night. Last night. Last night. Didn't kill myself last night.
So there you have it. My mom saved my life, and then a little while later, Barney Miller saved my life. It was a funny show. Wojo Holy.
I like fish. Everyone likes fish.
Let me see what I got.
Do you have stories too, Nick, or no?
Oh no.
Only Floyd. Only Floyd. Floyd, you have to write these down from your mother. You know that. You will influence so many people. It'll be amazing. He will help you whenever you're ready.
Okay, this is from my screenplay. This one actually has dialogue, so it involves. Anybody remember Robert Ritchie? Anyone old enough to remember Robert? He had a speech impediment, and he would call himself Wobbit Witchy. He was an amazing artist, a performance artist. He used to perform naked with a chicken around his waist. He was always just the most fucked up guy around. But everybody loved him because he was ours. This is a scene. It's called A Very Dickhead Christmas Story. He went by the name Dickhead. So this is actually written out in parts, so I'm going to try and do this as I go. Narrator, which is me. So there's this guy, Dickhead, an artist who lives down the street. As long as I knew him, he would greet me with these words. Got any pot? Never a hello or what's up, as if I was put on this planet to get him high. So one day before Christmas, I heard a knock on my door. Special effects. I opened the door. Dickhead was there. Got any pot? Me. This is me talking. All right, that does it. I've been getting you high for years with no payback. You want me to get you stoned? You got to clean the cat litter box and decorate that crappy dollar store Christmas tree over there.
Oh my God.
I point to a shabby dollar store tree strewn with tinsel. A cat is literally eating a stand of tinsel off the tree. Dickhead drunkenly goes to the litter box where he finds cat's turds with tinsel running through them. He scrapes the hardened turds out with his bare hand, sits down and displays the turds on my kitchen table. Where he then dips into his pocket and pulls out a bunch of weird crap, chicken legs, feathers, etc., including paper clips. He proceeds to turn the turds with the paper clips into ornaments. When he is finished, he proceeds to decorate the dollar store tree with the cat turd ornaments while singing, Jesus loves me, yes I know. He finishes and walks over to me with one last ornament, which he then hangs from his ear like an earring. Dickhead says, got any pot? Well played, dickhead. Dickhead leaving. Have a crappy Christmas.
Is my kid gonna be working weird from all this stuff? It's already happened. Oh, the world's weird enough, doesn't matter. Yeah.
I mean, that's inventive.
Would you like to do this and help? Yeah. Oh, baby in charge. When they're playing, listen to him too. He has fun. No, I was doing it. You could do it, Pina. You just do it in time, right?
We're going to do 3 more songs and wrap it up for you. Thank you for listening to my stories.
We love them. Oh my God.
I got more that somehow disappeared from that. Thank you.
More stories. I get to hear them all night. Love it. That's what makes it
This is a love song you don't hear every day.
Real stories.
I'm in love with a lesbian. I found out that she hates men. She has a broken her name is Sally. She's working over in the alley. Hey, lesbian girl. Hey, lesbian girl. God must be insane. They put the wrong hormones in her brain. I'm in love with a lesbian. I found out that she hates me. Wanna kiss her and stop her kicks. She won't do me 'cause I have a dick. Hey, lesbian girl. Hey, lesbian girl. God must be insane. Put the wrong hormones in her brain.
Part.
La 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 lesbian. La 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 lesbian. La 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 lesbian. La 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 lesbian. 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 I'm in love with a lesbian.
Nothing like unrequited love.
Shake it, Bina. You can do it. Shake it, Bina. Oh, come on, Bina. Don't be shy.
This song was written from a friend of mine. It's the only Floydband song that I didn't write the lyrics to other than the covers that we did.
My bad. Sorry.
They kind of nice out.
JB and Billy Bogus. God damn, my friends from back in the day don't even fucking, they come and don't even fucking give a shit.
No, we give a shit.
This is a song by Jimmy Cooper. Jimmy Cooper. He's a good friend of ours. He was a campfire song. We used to sing along. He died of leukemia. One of those people that died. Alright, this is called Mind Full of Slime.
go out and take the chance. Well, my mind's full of slime, and I'm having a hell of a time just trying to make these lines rhyme. Talked about trains while smoking some dope. Started hurting my brain and I gave up all hope. I gave her a house to make her live sleep, but she kicked me in the balls. I lay groaning in the street where my mind's full of slime. Just trying to make these lines rhyme.
Hey, you really want to sing? It's fine. So let me finish these last few lines before she departed. I wanted to make her mine. She gave me one more smile. I thought that could be a start, but she kicked me in style. Walked off in the dark. Well, my mind's full of slime, and I'm having a hell of a time just trying to make these lines rhyme. Where my mind's full of slime, and I'm having a hell of a time just trying to catch up my chimes. Well, my mind's full of slime, and I'm having a hell of a time just trying to catch up my chimes. One more time. Thank you so much. Really
Good job being on.
for showing up tonight.
Good job being on.
Felt the love. Oh, by the way, shameless plug time. We're selling all my art and magnets in here.
Yes.
My magnets are
Buy
$20 a
them,
piece.
buy them.
This is the part where you pay attention.
Hey,
This is the part where you pay attention. My magnets
there's
are
art.
$20 a piece.
Listen.
2 for $35. I knocked $5 off if you buy one. 3 for $50. I knocked another $5 off if you buy one. So check out my magnets. You might find something you like. It's a walk down memory lane. If you have any memory left.
One more song.
What are those?
One more. Encore.
Nowhere to go with my fantasy. No one tells me what to do. I'm just a guy who makes his own rules. Don't want a house, a big wife. Only I'm master, it's my life. Responsibility. Cause I know how to have my own fun. Never say the L word, cause that's a trap. She'll think she owns you and all that crap. Anything can happen any given day if you don't give a damn. Better that way. Kid. Oh, not me, man. Insurance? I'm not planning on living that long anyway. Fuck everybody doing this shit. I'm never working again. In fact, I'm gonna take a nap right now.
Thanks so much. We're done. By magnets. By magnets. Limited by magnets.
One more story. No, any more stories? One more story. One more story.
What's the knife?
One more story.
By magnet.
One more story. Encore. Encore. One more story. One more story.
Alright, I'll leave you with this story.
Okay. Woo!
You would see them now and then. Ragged-looking people straggling down the sidewalk, yelling random curses, having spirited conversations with no one, sometimes kicking or punching the air. And I would wonder, how did they get that way? Then one night, I was left behind at the bar at closing time. I was walking home, I was staggering, cursing, lashing out with fists and kicks, and then I realized, I am one of them. And all at once I understood, we are the left behind. One more song. I don't know if you could dance with acoustic guitar, but this is like fucking
Inspiring, right?
She's just wild about me. I'm just mad about saffron. She's just wild about me. They call me Mellow Yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. Quite right, call me Mellow Yellow.
I'm dying. I haven't heard this
It's
song.
gonna be the latest thing.
Why not?
The electrical banana. It's gonna be you so bland. They call me Mellow Yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. Over and 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 over again. Mellow. Yellow. Mellow. Yellow. Mellow yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. Over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, if you like to do any more. We're into it. Nobody's leaving. We are a captive audience. Very captive audience. A captive audience that wants more. As my kid would say, more, mama, more. Yeah, when she was a baby.
I think we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
All right, we'll do our power back.
One more.
I used to have a hot dog stand on Euclid Avenue during the 666 strip. And I got to know some homeless people. I wrote a song about our homeless brothers living on the street. Remember the boat blew in December.
Public square, there's hundreds of skaters everywhere.
My kid's embarrassed by me.
When you're living on the street, there's no looking back. I'm living on the street, hiding from the heat, living on the street. Could use some shoes for my feet. I'm living on the street, and I sure could use a drink. 'Cause I'm living on the There's Indian Joe will hit you for $1. You need Jesus, the trumpet player holders. I'm living out of my shopping cart with my broken dreams and my broken heart. I'm living on the street, hiding from the heat. Living on the street, I need some shoes for my feet. I'm living on the street, and I sure could use a drink. 'Cause I'm living, yeah, living on the
This is the part where people would slam dance back in the day. Crash into each other, look at windows and stuff. Get a band-aid. Nick Zuma! My guitar, hand for Nick! My brother. Oh fuck, we love you. We're doing that everything. We're gonna do some cracker-ass country music.
Is she really going out with them? Oh yeah, we don't know that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Do a little country song for you. Then we're out. Bye, Magnus.
We're getting an extra show in tonight.
I might give you the dancer for you. Town look the same as I step down on the train. There to meet me was my mama and my daddy. Down the road I looked, and there came Mary. Hair of gold and lips, cherry is good to touch the green, green grass of home.
Here's the sad part.
Then I awoke, looked around me at those cold gray prison walls that surround me, and I realized I was only dreaming. Oh, there's a guy